Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under the Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made of the fair use of purposes such as criticism, blah, 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 blah. You get my point. Right. What's next? Right. Bit of advertising. Let me advertise my brother. Today, we're going to be looking at the 100, what's it called, the Infinite Monkey Cage. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes, but I ain't going back to prison, motherfuck some time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins in the club smoking bud, so some love is we dug up. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check. Going out the hallway, going out the hallway. Gotta think it take me out, gotta think it take me out. Bitch, I'm in my own lane, bitch, I'm in my own lane. Feel like it's my destiny, yeah. I'm God of a king, son of a queen. Give me my rings, I'm taking my crown, standing my ground as I walk with my feet upon the earth. Holy hell, heaven fell upon this holy tight turf. Shit, I'm going out the hallway, going out the hallway. Gotta think it take me out, gotta think it take me out. Bitch, I'm in my own lane, bitch, I'm in my own lane. Feel like it's my destiny. Yeah, you can't stop my fucking shine, no, you can't stop my shine. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes, but I ain't going back to prison, motherfuck some time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins in the club smoking bud, so some love is we dug up. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check. I was thinking to myself, and I was talking to myself, and I was looking at myself, yeah, I was staring at myself, while myself was telling me to get the fuck up on the ground. I told myself to fuck yourself and get the fuck away from around, while myself was telling me and trying to put me in a cell. I told myself to fuck yourself and take yourself and go ahead. Cause I'm the true and living spirit in a young black male, and I come to unveil the spell of the tale. Ghosts. Shit, fuck what you talk about. This plane that we stand on is flat. The earth is not a spinning ball. Fuck what you heard. Fuck you talk about. Vaccines. Yeah, I wanna see a young motherfucker killing us slowly. Yeah, you can't stop my fucking shine, no, you can't stop my shine. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes, but I ain't going back to prison, motherfuck some time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins in the club smoking bud, so some love is we dug up. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check. Ain't no motherfucking dummy. Right, we on. Ready to rock and roll. Up in the Discord. Alright, what's up, people? Let me unmute my panelists today. We have Jimmy. We have Itachi Nomad. We have White Magician. We have Joe from Cali, probably at work but listening. But today, I wanted to start with this stupid BBC thing that came out. When did it come out? 11th of July. Okay. We're going to play probably about maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of this. And we're going to be stopping to talk about these fools over here on the panel, laughing at y'all monkey asses. Okay, here we go.
I ain't no monkey.
I ain't no monkey, believe. So I'm going to play this, and whenever you want me to pause, Jimmy, let me know. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll tell you. This is how they do panels.
And I'm Brian Cox. Welcome to the 100th edition of the Infinite Monkey Cage.
Yeah, this has now been going so long. It started in 2009, a time when Brian Cox was so naive that he actually believed you could persuade people to believe things with evidence. Whereas, tragically now, he spends most of his life online just there going, no, it's got to be a sphere. It can't be flat. Oh, that shadows, eclipses. You can't put that on the side of a bus. People will never believe it.
So for the avoidance of doubt, this is a show where we assume our audience knows that the Earth is an oblate spheroid. The Big Bang was a hot, dense phase in the evolution of the universe 13.8 billion years ago. All life on Earth is related to a universal common ancestor, and you can put that on the side of a bus, and they will believe you.
Brian's job in the show is to help explain the nature of the universe using theoretical and particle physics, and my job is to interrupt him every time I see the audience going, I don't understand what he's saying anymore. I mean, I think he believes he understands what he's saying, but I'm utterly, utterly lost.
This doesn't even sound
that's generally
serious.
actually my problem with you. My problem is that when I first hear you speak, I think I'm beginning to understand this, and then slowly it kind of drifts off into me hearing you doing an Alan Bennett monologue. And so it starts off with him just going, as we travel through the solar system, we see the still unexplained rings of Saturn. Mother saw the rings of Saturn the other day, and she didn't think much of it at all. She said she preferred the ring road around the Scarborough bypass. She once saw Roy Hood there having a ham and piccalilli sandwich in a lay-by. I said, Mother, how do you know it was a ham and piccalilli sandwich? She said, I've got a good eye for relish. Anyway.
Okay, right. Let's pause there. Jimmy, what were you saying, my brother? Hello, Jimmy. What happened to you now?
I'm surprised you
You
guys
cut off. You're gonna have to start again. You cut out completely. Jimmy?
No, I'm a little behind.
Okay.
Because when I'm watching the clip while you're playing it, I'm like way lagged if I make a comment on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am too, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it?
I would never watch that shit. I don't understand. It's a programmed show, so. But he's the third party. You know how he's sitting there. It's like a generally accepted thing, and then they throw the laugh track behind it when they sit there and say, you know, when I see, you know, the scientists talking to all of you people, and you guys go into a daze, you know, that's when I come in. You know, that's the third party intervener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the Neil deGrasse Tyson right there. You know.
I just noticed how, you know, Brian Cox kind of went through the whole Big Bang thing really quickly, and, you know, where we assume that our
That's their
audience
claim.
knows.
Everyone laughing knows the Big Bang happened, right? That's what they're producing out of this TV show is they know now, which isn't true, right? They don't know. The Big Bang is a theory. It's always been a theory. They'll tout it as a theory themselves, but the TV show, it knows, you know, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's for entertainment.
So let me just see who's texting
Let's
where.
play the Degrasse Tyson parts. Let's go right to the meat of it.
No. There's about 20 minutes of good material. We're gonna go through all of it straight through. Because
I'm not gonna comment while it's going on. I'm way lagged on it.
I think the little jokes they put in are really important to be stopping, and you know the whole fact that it's a comedy show.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm gonna continue playing and hope it's not that lagged. What do you think the lag is? About 10 seconds or more?
It's just because I'm watching it on YouTube. Yeah, it's probably 10 to 25 seconds.
So it's paused right now, though.
Yeah, it's paused in YouTube.
Yeah, if you watch it on YouTube, it's gonna be super lag. But if you listen to it on here, it should be good timing.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get remove this. Try and get my chat up. Insert window capture.
Can you set your scene so that it will go full screen with that video?
Restream. I think it's this one.
Maybe with your logo in one of the sides.
I'm not sure if it's this one. Sorry, what were you saying?
Like so the capture goes full, you know, a much larger.
Oh, bigger screen. No problem. I can do that. I can do that. Do it like. Do it like this. Cut it on. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of bits. Remove this. Struggling with my Restream app, but we'll get there.
I'm not a huge fan of being told what to think. You know.
So let me continue anyway. Peace to everybody in the chat. I know there's people up in the chat. I'm having trouble with it at the moment. I got it up here somewhere. Hey, Cautious Castaway, TY Gemini, peace to you guys. Yeah, I thought I'd throw this BBC thing up because you guys don't have access to it in the US, so got Neil deGrasse on it as well. So I'm gonna continue. Hopefully it's not too delayed.
I'll try to explain the universe, but she said I haven't got time. I didn't understand Poirot last Sunday, so I'm going to understand the universe. And anyway, Foyle's War's on in a minute. I've got a thing for Michael Kitchen. I'll stop there.
So having failed to get through 99 episodes with any single subject, from dark energy to the origin of life to the mortality of strawberries, we've decided to increase the entropy of the show by having 3 panels instead of 1 and attempting to deal with cosmology, biology, the future of humanity and pretty much everything else in under 1 hour. We've invited some of our favourite panellists, physicists, anatomists and Shakespearean actors. Brian? To find out what we know about the universe that we didn't know when we began the series in 2009.
And to ensure that liturgical matters are not sidestepped, we will also be assisted by Theology Corner, in which we have 2 of our favourite clerics, the Reverend Richard Coles and the former Dean of Guildford Cathedral, the very Reverend Victor Stock, and they will be hosted by our regular religious correspondent, Katie Brand. Katie, you went to a convent school, and you did end up in a point, didn't you, as a young person, where you went, I don't know whether to be a nun or an astronaut.
Yes, it was difficult. I had NASA on the phone and the Archbishop of Canterbury beating down my door, and in the end I thought, no, I need something that will satisfy my massive ego but also allow me to be really lazy. So I became a panel show comedian instead.
Become a vicar, actually, on the basis of that.
That's true. Actually, there's a lot of crossover, apparently, psychologically, between being a comedian and a vicar.
Well,
did you know that?
We have a lot of crossover in the Church of England, but the bishops don't like it.
So, for our first panel, we are joined by a cosmologist, a theoretical physicist, a Python, and an actor who makes us question the very notion that new energy cannot be created in this universe. And they are...
I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist from across the pond. I'm based in New York City, where I serve also as director of New York City's Hayden Planetarium.
I'm Faye Dowker. I'm a theoretical physicist and I work at Imperial College in London.
I'm Eric Idle. I'm a theoretical comedian and I'm available for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
My name is Brian Blessed. I'm very humble. I have great modesty. I'm a great actor. I mean, I have to say here and now, I must make this very clear that Sir Derek Jacobi, Sir Kenneth Branagh, Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart, they're all compared to me.
And this is our panel! Neil, we'll start off with you. So, in the last 10 years, what do you think has been the most remarkable discovery about our understanding of why our universe is as it is?
There are tons of discoveries, but if you had to rank them, like picking your children, at top one, maybe I'd say the discovery of the Higgs boson, I would say. I don't know how many people are familiar with this particle, but it was long hypothesized, and there were books written about it. In fact, one book was called The God Particle, Just let the theology corner know. This, if you were going to be a particle, this might be the particle you choose to be, because as other particles move through its field, it actually grants them their mass. Now that's a badass particle. If you're just ranking what particles do in the universe. Now, if you want to know how it works, I have an analogy, if I may. And I'll do this with Brian's permission, because you work in this, Brian, right? This is your field.
Yeah, I'm checking.
You're checking. Thank you. Thank you. Brian's like hangs out at the Large Hadron Collider of CERN. But thinking about how to get people to understand the Higgs boson, I think of a Hollywood party. Okay, if you are an unknown actor at a Hollywood party, and you enter, and the bar is across the way, you could just walk there with no impedance to your progress. You have a low party mass, okay? If you are famous and you walk in, if you're Beyonce and you walk into a party, people crowd around you, and you cannot move very quickly. You have accreted party mass. So the Hollywood party field granted the popular person more mass than the unpopular person. And this is when you want to think about why one particle has a higher mass than another, you can think of this sort of interaction with the Higgs field. And there are other science comedians in the world, by the way. One of them is Brian Mallow. Love him. In fact, his Twitter handle is Science Comedian. He is the origin of this next joke. A Higgs boson walks into a church, and the priest is a Catholic church. The priest said, "I'm sorry, we don't allow Higgs bosons in church." And the Higgs boson said, "Excuse me, but without me, you can't have mass." Ooh. That's really good.
Just give everybody on my panel some time to catch up to the stream. Are you guys with me?
I like.
Jimmy?
I like how he called himself a science comedian right there at the last clip, because he said there are other science comedians, and instead of saying other, I like. Oh, I gotta mute myself here. Instead of saying other, he would have said there are science comedians, you know, separating himself, and instead he's using a more inclusive language.
Mm-hmm.
There are some they are tricky people. Also, the reason having actors and other comedians on here is once you get the audience laughing and you get them a little off kilter, they say it's easier for them to pour the truth in. And so that's what the Neil deGrasse Tyson actor position is he's the one pouring in the truth. And they love analogies.
Yep.
Mason type. Yeah. Because an analogy can just convey so much more information.
Yep.
Than time may permit. And if you've got people tricked to think a particular way about words, and when they use an analogy, there's where their secret language is.
Mm-hmm. Disguising density in this little mass joke.
Yeah, I'd like to see the evidence of all of this. That'd be my
no, that is his evidence. That is his evidence. That's all you got. You'll see. You see as you go. Okay, how long we got left? Probably about 10 something minutes. We'll see. You don't have to watch all of this shit. That's for sure. Let me continue.
Good one. Brian Mallow on that one. I think so. To me, that's top. That's one of the top few of the decade.
I think in your list of descriptions of the Higgs boson, you omitted to mention that Eric has written extensively on this subject.
I did not know that, Eric.
It's a little known fact. Would you like me to do it?
I think I would.
All right, it's a little song I wrote about the Higgs boson. Not many people know this, but there's the Higgs boson, and there's leptons, and there's gluons. There's the Higgs boson, and there's positons and muons. There are photons, there are protons, there's neutrinos, positinos. There are quarks, and there's electrons in the Higgs boson. There's neutrinos, angelinos in the Higgs boson. There are sauvignons and pinos in the Higgs boson. There are bonos, Yoko Onos, Brianinos, cappuccinos, both Latinos and Latinos in the Higgs boson. There are gluons, there are muons in the Higgs boson. There are many, there are few ones in the Higgs boson. There are gold ones, there are blue ones, there are old ones, there are new ones, and some we haven't got a clue on in the Higgs boson.
I'm sorry, there's an interjection from the theology corner.
I sense that the Reverend Richard Coles has a question.
This
so
is
I
a
just
really
wondered...
stupid question. What I don't understand is why is the Higgs boson important?
So, Matt, can I take this? I got this. Brian, I got this.
I'll check.
I got this.
I'm listening.
I got this. Okay. Sir, other than it's important to physics, we have no idea yet how it will be important to our lives or to civilization. And your question was asked of the electron when it was first discovered. It was asked of quantum physics as a branch of our understanding of the universe when it was discovered. Yet quantum physics today is the foundation of the entire information technology revolution. It would take decades, but at the time, because it's a new discovery, if too many people are around saying, how does that put food on my plate, then civilization stalls in that moment. So as scientists, we have to be content discovering something new without regard to its relevance to civilization, because history has shown that give it some decades, civilization finds a way to tax it.
Hey, what's your big discovery of the last 10 years?
In cosmology, I would choose the direct detection of gravitational waves. Those are ripples in the fabric of space-time, predicted to exist by Einstein using general relativity over 100 years ago.
That would have corrected him right.
Actually, Einstein thought that
It's
they
not
were so...
civilization that's doing any taxing at all. It's corporations.
Yeah, I just paused to just see what's popping in the YouTube chat. If I can even get it up. Nope, I lost it. Don't know how I lost the chat now. That's silly. I'll get it back up somehow.
That's a pretty long lag. Oh, I got you muted. It's a pretty long lag there.
No worries. Any idea how long the lag is?
When he mentioned civilization attacks it. You know, that kind of loose descriptive use is the trick. They want you to emulate that. They don't want you to be like the law. The law is very precise. Statutes and codes are, you know, very precise. You can do this, you cannot do this. Civilization terminology, I mean, there's a lot going on with that one word. You ought to not be using one word to do large descriptive sweeps. I would say that's a conscious thing that is very subconsciously done when we discuss things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
Example of that is people will know about vibration and then start using the words that are low vibration, but be talking about attempting to lift consciousness and live in a higher vibration, but yet the words they're using are, you know, they say the opposite, you know. Your actions, your words are your actions. And so the more we take a personal, responsibility to this, which the corporate side, they say we're, limited liability. You hear all that. That's the removal of man's responsibilities, because I voted for that guy over there and he's responsible. All these people do is mostly lie, and no one gets held accountable. But now when you go into some court and you lie, oh my God, that's another charge. You know what I mean? Okay, what's going on with this? And so, these people up here, they're all actors. And everybody's just acting like them, And so that song, the guy sang, very truthful. It's a sing song, man. That's a very Masonic thing to do. And it sounded like there was some truth in there too, so he included all of the keywords, and then he started including actors and musicians and people in history, right? And those were all stories too. So you got to kind of look at it as a whole, as a field, just you if you don't know how to take their words and apply them to them and in their actions or what they're doing, because that's what they do. They give it away right in front of you. They tell you the truth. So that's cool. Yeah. This time I'm going to try to just listen to it, just coming out of here in Discord, because I was listening to it on YouTube and it's just too long. So maybe move your mic a little closer to your speaker so I can hear it better. Yeah. We got to think or find something where we can watch things in sync. I guess maybe that's why they use the Hangouts, so the people on the panel are sunk up. I think that might be one reason you guys use that, which is maybe okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I have myself muted there, but I'm going to mute again.
Difficult to detect that we would never actually directly observe them.
Big discovery of the last 10 years.
Predicted to exist by Einstein using general relativity over 100 years ago. Actually, Einstein thought that they were so difficult to detect that we would never actually directly observe them. They are created in the universe in huge events like the collision of two enormous black holes to form another black hole. I actually cried during the press announcement because the experiment that detected them, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, was being planned while I was a student. And so that whole enterprise spanned my whole career. Many of my colleagues and friends have worked directly on it. And it was a very moving and exciting moment. So yeah, I burst into tears. It's as if we only had sight before, but now we can actually hear. So there's just new information
it's all
that
real.
we can receive from the universe.
Oh my God!
Speaking
it's
of
not a
channels
theory
of communication
anymore.
To the universe, Brian, what is your take on these great discoveries, the observation of the collisions of black holes, the origin of mass in the universe? How do you picture those advances in our knowledge?
Being a greenhorn, I must say that I get passionately moved by Horizon, by your own programs and the marvelous things that are taking place now in the universe. I think the Huygens Cassini project has been staggering and moving. And now that we've suddenly found it, the smallest of the moons, barely the size of Britain, Enceladus, the little Cassini has found it. It's got geysers on board that go thousands of miles into the sky, you know, like Iceland, but bigger ones, giant ones. And this little Cassini, I watched it on television a few months ago with the whole of NASA there and this lady from New Zealand, and gradually it did its last recording and sent its last information back. Beep, 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 beep. And it got to Saturn where it would die, and everyone's weeping in the studios there at NASA, and he goes beep, 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 and dies. And it was the most moving thing
Did he say that?
I've ever
Everybody in the studios at NASA? Is that what he just said? They telling you right there, bro.
They just said it, man.
Listen to these motherfuckers. They tell you the truth. And what's a Cassini? Who can break that word down right there? What's a fucking Cassini? No, it's supposed to be a satellite.
Yeah.
But satellites are balloons and all sorts of other shit. Simulation.
Yeah. I'm lost for words on these fools. He's so emotional about this story, and you can see him looking down like he's getting ready for the script. He's looking into his mind, the way he's looking down at, you know, almost like
It's looking like he's trying to remember what he's been told to say.
Yeah,
like
it
he's
looks
forgetting
like
his
he's
lines.
reading a script to me.
Yeah.
And stupid
They
story.
all are. This is a production, bro.
It has to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other lady
100%, bro.
saying she nearly cried. She nearly cried when they.
That's some bullshit.
They didn't observe the gravity wave. They heard it or some shit. Did you hear that shit? What the fuck? Like.
And, you know, I want to just say benefit of the doubt because, look, man, we all come through being fooled. And she could just be one of them compartmentalized fools. And it's like when they all start waking up, too, because that's where you're controlling. You know, when you're actually controlling the power of these mechanisms. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a man or a woman there. And probably some paperwork.
Yeah. A whole hell of a lot of it.
Yeah, because I mean, really, yeah, we as man live in this 3D world, but the world that controls everything in this math is 2-dimensional. Mm-hmm. And, you know, pretty much sitting on a dang database, which is like, you know, it's just in a different freaking dimension altogether.
Yeah.
The computer dimensional database. We used to use lots and lots of paperwork, but now they just take the paperwork, scan it, you know, and then that shit's getting all databased.
Yeah.
Let me just say peace to everybody. Hey, no, I can say it live. Hey, peace to everybody in the chat. I couldn't see everybody. Peace, knowledge, cautious castaway. Let me get you modded up, my brother. Where you at? Where you at? H.O.T.C. Nomad, my brother, modding you up in there.
Yeah, you already know I was up in there. I had to leave for a minute though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube chat and everything.
Yeah, sorry.
I wasn't even paying attention.
I was trying to get it so that it came up on the live screen, streaming to two other Periscope and Twitch. So I was trying to get the chats synced up with that as well. But yeah, so let me see. I think it's not much longer on this because they go back to Mr. Brian Cox and the father. The important thing is the priest. After that, it's a bunch of shit. Yeah. After that, Tyson is off the stage, I think. So this is the main indoctrination section of the show. You know, the sing song, get all the, you know, songs sang and drilled into your head. And shit.
Yeah, it really irritates me that people actually believe this shit, man.
Bro, when I was watching this, I was telling Jimmy.
Isn't that the purpose of that word? Isn't belief there for a specific reason?
I mean, belief is the acknowledgement of something to be true without fact. So, yeah.
Wow. but that's it, you know the definition of it. A lot of people don't know the definition of it. You're not going to go out and want to believe in everything when you realize belief is for religion. So
Yeah.
is this science or is this motherfucking religion? Like, you got to bring belief. It's fucking religion. You say belief, and I know you're a religious person. I don't give a shit what subject you're talking about. Religion has something to do with it. If you mention the word belief or believe, I believe, can't you just think about it? Can't you be thinking about this or thinking about that? Because isn't that actually what you're doing?
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting in your mind like, nah, this is real. I mean, dude, you're fucking 30 years old, bro. That's shit you do when you're 8.
Yeah.
That's your imagination. You can still have an imagination today. This is where the power of the adult comes in, is you use that imagination and you don't fucking believe in anything. You want to go
Yeah.
out, you inventing something, this part fixed to this part, fixed to this part, and we get this result.
I really think the transition from being like, how you were saying, like, you do that kind of thing when you're 8, but like the transition from where you're a kid and you think about all these things, but when you become an adult, like you could actually like do something with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a hard transition that a lot of people go through.
Technically the schooling and everything, the schooling that your parents would have gone through, right? So this is, generation after generation, it comes through the education. So if we started at a particular place and it took them over 100 years to change it, to get us to today, we could jump back 100 years in education and start to correct this. And that will have to come from the parents wanting to teach their children how to not be tricked. Like, you don't want to be tricked by the guy with the candy in the van, right?
100%.
So you want your children to not also be tricked by the slick talking lawyer that's got this plan and scheme, and he's talking to your boy and your boy's jazzed up. He come home, oh, we getting rich. Oh, you don't know how, but I'll show you. I got to just give this guy a little bit of money first, and he'll give me the plans.
That's how they get you, bro.
Yeah. And then they get you with contracts, and then you know nothing about contracts, and you don't link contracts back into being a real life man or woman, and you can make a mistake, and you can say, nah, I rescind my signature off that contract. I made a mistake. It's not all in or death. This ain't a gang.
Yeah.
It ain't blood in, blood out. This is like how commoners, if we're all common together in regions, come together, and like we got schools and firefighters, and these things all have to be covered. We got water, power, roads, grocery stores, farms outside the city. Like, however, all that society stuff, what I would call civilization, which are multiple definitions, because people do it differently all over the place. Some people are forced, like I think in France, it's like their coat of arms. That's their citizenry. But
that's without
let's
family.
Let's not get too far off this video.
Yeah, my bad. Me and Jimmy kind of got into it.
Shout out to cryptos. But we catching them. I even saw in there, magician caught it too. He's at studios. I heard it immediately. I was like, studios?
That shit blew
yeah,
my
baby,
mind.
give me some more fuel. Let me burn your house down. You're right. It is a studio, bro. You speaking truth.
Yeah, that's probably the first true thing that they've ever said.
The name,
well, no, the song,
name of the show.
The song too.
Of course.
They not telling good jokes.
Let's do it. I'm rolling. Yeah, we let it bleed through your microphone because then we're all on point.
And sorry to the YouTube chat, I was muted for all of that as well, so I apologize for that. I'm getting used to it. It's a lot to.
Yeah, man, I was about to tell you. Like, I was about to type in the chat. I was like, "Hey, alert! Hey, bro."
Don't worry, I'll put the subtitles on the video later on. You know what I'm saying? Like blah 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 blah.
Man was muted.
I was telling anybody who wasn't watching the stream what the stream was about. That's all you guys missed. So.
Oh, word.
Yeah, we sorted it, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's dissect this thing again.
Okay, let's carry on. I'm gonna mute myself. Well, you guys will hear me though from YouTube.
On television.
I can't hear through your mic.
Eric, I know your name is now on Mars.
We have been.
No.
We have been.
I can't.
No. We used to, but now we can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big. All right. Well, I'll unmute the
on the Curiosity
YouTube,
rover. But what would you like to see? We've looked back at the last 10 years, but as Brian said, there are things you'd like to see in the next 10. What would you like to see?
Well, I think the most important thing from a layman's point of view is the popularity of science has grown enormously over the last 10 years, thanks to programs like this. And bringing comedy into science has been very important. And I think that's because it's ongoing. It's happening at the moment. And we actually haven't heard anything from God for the last 2,000 years. With the single exception of the controversy in the Vatican about whether or not God is present in gluten-free bread for communion.
We've actually run out of time. However, we should just pop over to Theology Corner to say, well, where is God?
I'm sure I speak for many church people here that have absolutely no difficulty at all with accepting that Darwin's account of how we got to where we got to is absolutely sound and completely consistent with my understanding too. I also want to say just very quickly, Eric, at St. Mary's Findon, we offer both gluten and gluten-free bread.
Victor. And I just wanted to give Victor the last word because he really wanted
to say something else about Stephen Hawking and his ledger stone, which we have placed over his ashes in Westminster Abbey. We have deliberately buried Stephen Hawking exactly adjacent to Isaac Newton. And in Latin, on Isaac Newton's ledger stone, it says his name, and then it says, the mortal remains of. The Dean of Westminster, John Hall, rather cleverly has put on Stephen Hawking's ledger stone, all that is mortal of. Because the place was packed, Brian was there, the world of education and science knows there's something immortal about that man. And the Abbey has put that in stone.
Thank you very much. Ecclesiastical Corner.
Yes.
I am beginning to think that attempting to do a panel in 15 minutes on what is ultimately the entire history of cosmology, but also about religious conflict versus science, may well have been more difficult than we imagined, because you told me time may not actually exist and may be a construct and time's arrow, but I definitely felt time's arrow over that one.
I think we did.
I've had in my ear for the last 20 bloody minutes, we need to move to the last
That guy
one.
real
Even though...
I doubt it.
You wish to interject? Hello?
No.
Yeah, he just asked was that guy a real priest.
All right, okay. I'm gonna carry on the video so you guys catch
So
back up.
far, such a lag, because it's not even paused yet.
No worries.
So time may well be a fiction. We're in a block universe. Everything's happening at the same time. That's fine, but it turns out Radio 4 follows different rules.
Robin's less experienced on television than I am. This is my earpiece.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody on the panel. We'll be returning to Theology Corner later on. And thank you for our discussion of the future and history of physics. Thank you.
It's now time for the next panel, and throughout our 18 series, we've had an ability to stir righteous ire amongst certain Radio 4 listeners. In fact, before we even went on air, we received, I think it was 12 of emails and, well, actually letters.
Yes, it's the biology panel, and to avoid any emails, let me be very...
Was roomy, very roomy. Anyway, our
Like
next panel, we're going to try and avoid an avalanche.
Okay, just say pause if you want me to pause. Okay.
You know when he said endorse it, that's an area in the UK? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he was making like a regional joke about a group of people, correct?
Yeah, but like
okay, that's part of
upper
the
class.
That's the indoctrination.
Right.
That ought to just be appalling. What you doing, making fun of people? You know, and it's like part of every day. We make fun of people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was saying people writing in, you know, maybe upper class, like writing in against
yeah,
Brian Cox.
It's classism for sure.
But yeah, I forgot they had a biology panel as well on this, and this is where it actually got a little bit interesting as well.
And then you heard the gale of laughter. Fuck all those people endorse it.
A lot of that laughter is fake, though.
Yeah, of course. It's programming. This whole thing is a programmed show, man. Any of those dudes step out of line, they'll just cut and restart.
Yeah, make them reread the script.
Yeah, they all looking down at some shit.
Hell yeah. This shit has me dying, bro.
Yeah, this was a great idea to cut these fools up.
Yeah,
but all right, let us listen to it through your speakers again, Allergic, because then we on point and we can cut like right where something happens.
Okay.
Say something. So let's get back to it.
I'll try. I just wanted to shout out Daniel Smith in the chat. My brother, he subscribed to Daniel Smith. He's gonna be doing some interesting stuff. You know, he's a content creator. He's up in the Discord as well, but I think he's busy trying to work out content creating. But we out there supporting any content creators and things like that. I'll help people build their Discord servers if necessary. If you need help with that.
Hey, can I say something right quick?
Yeah, man.
I just want to shout out to the thumbnail, bro. Whoever made that one.
It's definitely someone from like IPS or something, or from 24/7 Discord or something like that. You know, I should be putting the link to 24/7 up in there as well.
Oh, do you mind if I shout out somebody's channel right quick?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
All y'all need to go check out Ron Shekelson. He's only got 1 or 2 videos up right now, but the stuff that he has is pretty good. He's gonna be posting more content soon, so be sure to go subscribe to Ron Shekelson.
Can you put the link up in the chat? I think I modded you. You're modded up, so you should be able to put links up in the. YouTube.
Am I? I don't think I'm modded yet.
You're modded. I see you. You're up modded. I see you in blue. H.O.T.C. Nomad.
All right, cool. Let's go.
So I'm gonna continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No worries.
So let me be very precise. We'll be looking specifically at hominin evolution as opposed to hominid evolution because we're focusing on modern humans. And our panel are...
I'm Alice Roberts. I'm an anatomist and anthropologist and professor of public engagement in science at the University of Birmingham.
I'm Sue Black. I'm Queen of the Dead. Because last time I got embroiled in the entire story of Are Strawberries Dead?
God.
Can I say my
I
life has
heard
never been the same?
Queen of
since.
Wait. Yeah, did she just the Queen of the Dead? Y'all caught what?
I mean, like,
What
I
is
can't
that
get,
supposed to mean, yo?
like literally, that's all that I heard. Like didn't hear.
I heard
anything else.
something,
Through.
Queen of the Dead.
She called herself the Queen of the Dead.
That should
All
send
right.
something to all. Man,
Come
what?
Well, these are all, you know, Masons programming, you know, like they program a show, and it must be for like a bunch of different groups of people.
Yeah, my
She said
brother.
the Queen of the Dead.
My brother Envy, you're unmuted now. Sorry, bro. I forgot to give you a YouTube role as well when you popped in. But yeah,
Wow. But I really want to hear it from your mic into Discord, Allergic.
That's the funniest freaking. Okay.
And it keeps going in and out. So just
It's
adjust your
when the applause starts, I have to try and turn it down because I think then it goes too loud for you. And when Brian
No,
Fox
it's not that. It's not bad. It's not bad. At no point has it been too bad. It's actually not. You know, you got to drop your sensitivity down so it keeps your mic active.
Yeah,
sensitivity.
it actually sounds quite good coming from your speakers.
Yeah.
Okay, voice
for
and
us.
video sensitivity
Yeah.
automatically determine input sensitivity. I've got it on automatically determine.
Click it and just bring the slider down
To the left or the right?
where it says automatically.
Yeah.
On the right, click that.
Yeah, that's automatic. Yeah.
Yeah, click
I already
it.
had
Turn it
on.
off.
I already had it on.
Now move that slider all the way down.
I can't move a slider when I've got it on.
You can move that slider now.
I can only move it when I switch it off.
No, because now you have no slider. Yeah, when it's off. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
I'm watching
So
the YouTube.
down or up, Jimmy, down or up. Please.
Down, towards the left.
Left, towards the left.
Yeah.
Is that better? Well,
yeah. What you'll do is play the video, and this while the video's going, just make sure that's that the audio, that slider is below the peaking of the audio, not the peak, but to where its lowest is. Because anytime the audio goes underneath that line, we won't hear it. The mic will turn off.
Okay, let me try again. Ba, 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 ba. Here we go.
At the University of Lancaster.
I'm Dave Gorman, and in 1990, I dropped out of a maths degree.
I'm Andy Hamilton, and I am the perplexed idiot.
No. Left. To the left. The lowest point, not the highest point. The lowest point.
Before we go on, of course, not all strawberries are dead. I mean, the subtlety of the question.
Been there.
You're doing it towards
there.
the highest point,
We're never going back.
It's which one's
Just
dead?
remember, they will never find your body, and they will never be able to identify you.
Thank you. That's why I don't
speaks a true expert.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Alice, what has been the most important discovery in biology over the last decade?
Well, if we're focusing on human evolution, there have been some amazing revelations. 10 years ago, we knew that the species originated in Africa. We knew that we'd spread around the globe way back in the Ice Age and the Pleistocene. And what most of us working in the field didn't think was that we'd interbred with any other species along the way. There were a few people suggesting that there were fossils that looked like they might be hybrids between modern humans and Neanderthals, but most of us just didn't buy it. Then ancient genetics happened, and the ability to extract DNA out of very old bones, to sequence it, to recover whole genomes. And in 2010, we had the publication of the Neanderthal genome, and suddenly we saw in the DNA that there was this clear evidence for interbreeding with Neanderthals.
Did we know that different species coexisted, and we just thought they hadn't interbred?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Because that seems to me to be what proves you don't know my mate Barry. Because the minute you go, yeah, well, they were all around at the same time, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, as a layperson, and they were obviously getting it on because some blokes will anything.
Well, I think the thing is that this...
I mean,
I don't think it's just blokes, though.
well, no, obviously.
But the weird thing is that this kind of came as a bit of a revelation, and I think maybe we're just all a bit prudish about human evolution, but it came as a revelation for humans. And then, surprise, surprise, every single other species that we've looked at in this way, where we've been able to look across the whole genome and go, right, did you interbreed with anything else along the way? They all did. So dogs interbred with wolves, apples interbred with crab apples so badly that they're more crab apple than original apple now.
Here's the thing I don't understand about biology.
Oh, you've ruined cider, haven't you? You've made it...
Literally, apples got crabs.
Is it something I don't understand about biology? One of the many things I don't understand about biology. So I thought the definition of a species was one that a group of organisms that could not breed with other organisms. So in what sense are Neanderthals a different species from Homo sapiens if there could be interbreeding?
Brian, I know this is going to be tricky because you're a physicist and you like to have nice, neat answers for things and equations that make everything work.
Just consistency will be...
Yeah.
There's their excuse
Biology's
or
a bit messier than
compromise.
that. So we try and put things in boxes, and then consistently what biology does is break out of those boxes. So we can go, right, this is what a species is. It is
That's
a
the
group
truth.
of organisms that normally
Biology
interbreed
does
with each
break
other,
out of the
and when they
boxes
try and
they
interbreed
make
with
for
another
us.
species, they're going to be infertile. And I suppose the crucial thing is normally.
See, Brian hates that. Brian said, oh, the universe has got life in it. Isn't it messy? Sue, I wanted to ask you about something that that sounds fascinating that you know about, which is going back to Neanderthals, using DNA to make, is it organoid brains? What this again seems to be an incredible change in the possibilities with the last.
So I'm not a DNA expert, which is great, because it means that I think I understand it, because it's out here somewhere, and then when you look at it, it shoots away and disappears, because the people who work in this field are so incredibly clever, and I'm not. But my understanding of it is, somebody said it was a bit like having molecular scissors with a sat-nav. So it's about being able to just very precisely cut the DNA and hone in to be able to do that. If you can then take something like Neanderthal DNA, which we now can find, we can replace that gene with a Neanderthal gene. What we're then able to do, so this is into stem cells, what they're now able to do is to grow an organoid, which is just a small pea-sized group of cells. And it's developed into something that's almost like a mini brain. It's like a mini neocortex, so that there are oscillating electrical signals in it. So what they want to do next is to see whether they can take those electrical signals, link them up to a robot, and see if we can actually get Neanderthal genes orchestrating movement in another object. Isn't that just out of this world?
It's
That is,
astonishing.
Andy, you've got to admit, the Neanderthal robot paradigm that we're talking about there, that's...
It's going to be a bit of a shock for the Neanderthal, though, isn't it? I mean, his world would not have been full of robots, would it?
It's just this information release.
What I love is the way this is kind of demolishing the model I grew up with, which was, the model was that Homo sapiens had been this sort of cheeky chappy ducker and diver, and we had, we had out-competed the Neanderthals, possibly by murdering them, which is textbook out-competing. But it now looks like, presumably, what we're saying is that there was a kind of absorption of populations, there was a lot of interbreeding, possibly in the face of a lot of parental objection. Your father doesn't want you going out with a Neanderthal, he says they're grunters. But that is what we're talking about, isn't it? And it means there's no such thing, all those people who get so angry out there about racial purity, in a way, what this is illustrating is there is no purity. Everything's a mashup. I'm probably fooling myself. They'll probably get more angry, won't they? They'll probably go marching around saying, there are people in this country walking our streets who aren't even our species. That's probably what will happen. But
no, but I think you're right, and because this theme of mixing carries on until much more recent times. So I think we've been kind of obsessed with the idea of species differentiating and growing out like a tree, so the kind of tree of life. And we've thought about that in terms of within species as well, so thinking about human populations and how they've diverged away from each other. But what we're finding is that the history of more recently of human populations, there's a lot more fusion than we've thought of in the past. So race is biologically meaningless. It is completely biologically meaningless. You can't divide up, you just cannot divide up the human species in that way.
You describe a world in biology that's moved very, very quickly over the last 10 years.
Magical word,
If we look
human.
into the next 10 years, I think some of the issues you raise, actually I was looking out into the audience and looking at Andy when you were talking about recreating and regrowing a part of a Neanderthal brain. And there is something, I think, to many people unsettling about the increase in our knowledge and capabilities in the biosciences, which you don't really see in physics. Is that a conflict?
I think it's where biology often comes into conflict, I dare I say it, with our theology corner, which is just because you can do it, should you do it?
I really like Clerical Corner. It's like a Muller Fruit Corner. And we're the yoghurt, and occasionally we stir a little bit of that jam in. It's lovely.
See, it's not a Muller Fruit Corner. No, they're not from
Muller.
that church.
Whether these two
Did any of
figures are
y'all
very
else
counter-genuine
like kind of catch that, what they just did there? So like, when I was listening to it, when I heard her say, you know, like just because you can do it, should you do it? As soon as she made that, you know, kind of statement, you know, because that's a real statement, you know, like that's really something you would ask in this situation, you know what I mean? But as soon as she asked that question, the dude, he went and like he made that little joke and it completely derailed everything. And then he started talking. Like that kind of seemed weird to me. Like as soon as it got like really like serious, like, you know, should people be doing this? It got derailed.
Yeah, because that's a morality question. They don't want any of that.
Yeah, that just seemed really odd to me.
Humans are immoral because they don't have any morals. The mixture between the paperwork and the man. And the man doesn't have the power. The paperwork he is given all the power to the paperwork, and that's the human.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It just seemed really odd to me how they done that.
Yeah, it's cool that you caught that, though. It's so low. If you could just turn your speakers up on your side, Allergic, it'd be a little better. Because I got everything. I got 100.
Okay, I've turned it up.
It's all up.
I've turned it up a big notch, so it'll be quite popping at my end. So it might even cut out. That's the part. I don't know if it'll cut out.
I don't think it will cut out. It's better than not being able to hear it.
What else did I want? Yeah, that it's just misdirection, smoke and mirrors with the comedy, like one cutting one off with another joke, and then straight into like it makes you forget what the previous thing was about, and it's just bombarding you with things.
It's how they open your psyche and just pour in their truth. You know,
I mean, because like for a second,
critically thinking.
You know, like for a second there, like I thought it was gonna get like really serious. You know, like getting down to like the really like, you know, the morality of everything. But I guess that's not how their script is set up today.
No, they've been making jokes. they've been pulling jokes, and then they do a little thing where they went truth, no truth, truth, no truth, truth, no truth, and they went back and forth with that for a little bit, and I'm just like, whoa. It's a whole propaganda manipulation sketch, which we know from the beginning.
Yeah.
But you got to look at all the keywords they use. That's the game right now. You know, they use humans. They're classifying the shit out of everything. They're Neanderthaling everything. Then they're telling you some truth about species, right? So they're really peppering a lot of things into this talk. All right, let's restart it. Let's check it out.
And the jokes are not that funny to add to it.
Peace to Huey P up in the chat. Indigenous Caribbean, TY Gemini still up in the joint.
Peace and love.
Peace and love to everybody. Bo Jackson. Yeah, we're gonna continue from where we left off from. Yeah, it's working out with the playing it through my speakers, so there's not much. Thanks to you guys for that. Thanks, Jimmy. Let me mute myself again and we carry on.
segregationists now and what you say to them when you meet them.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, of course we do. I preached a sermon at Westminster Abbey recently. We have a lot of Americans in the congregation at Westminster Abbey, which is a bit of a challenge sometimes. And I explained about Darwin being buried there and that sort of stuff. And I said that in the 19th century, in the Church of England, there was absolutely no controversy at all about honouring this man and burying him here. And I said, I believe in some parts of the United States there's something called creationism, which I believe is taught in some schools. I said, it's not an alternative, it's rubbish.
And thank you to our panel. This is the Infinite Monkey Cage 100th episode. Apparently, some of you might be watching on BBC iPlayer and not be aware that there is a whole other world.
I'm glad that didn't go on YouTube when I swore. But yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Is it over?
Did you catch when the other Joker comedian guy said something about being an idiot?
Okay, really?
He said,
I did not catch
I'm
that.
just an idiot. Let me see if I can get
That's
it.
great. That's great. See, I told you they
He said
will tell you the freaking truth, man. Being an idiot's not like what you think.
he was being
like,
skeptical.
As a man, like you're like, duh, I'm an idiot. I can't do anything for myself. No, but lawfully under the law, it just means you're not a part of the system.
Yeah.
So if that black-coated guy calls you an idiot, just smile.
This
Sit back. You're done. You win. Smile.
the comedian I'm showing on the screen now is the one that said it, and he was referring to himself for being skeptical towards the Brian Cox and Neil deGrasse Tyson, theories.
Yeah.
He was calling
Good.
himself an idiot for that.
Good. Good.
So yeah, can you break down that word idiot for people who are listening on the YouTube, please, my brother?
Well, lawfully, it's you're not a part of the system. You can't hold you to be a part of the system, so they'll call you an idiot. It has many definitions. It's another word like gravity.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on that rubbish, that BBC indoctrination trash? Before we go.
Exactly what it was.
No, nobody want to chime in.
I mean, you pretty much summed it up right there. I mean, I really spoke my piece throughout the video. So
okay, cautious.
It was horrible. They looked at Neil deGrasse Tyson looked nervous, and the jokes was stale as hell, and and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, just a short stream, guys. I thought we'd come together with the brothers across the ocean and do a stream on this.
First stream.
Yeah, mine and Jimmy's first stream together, and a few people came through.
We'll dial it in. We'll make it better.
So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play my favorite Huey P track and ride out to it. In the distance.
Fuck what you heard, shit, we living in hell. They don't wanna see a young nigga ball, just wanna put us in jail. You can't stop my fucking shine, no, you can't stop my shine. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes. But I ain't going back to prison, motherfuck some time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins. In the club smoking bud, show some love, cause we dug out. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check. Going out the hallway, gotta think it take me out, Bitch, I'm in my own lane, feel like it's my destiny, yeah. I'm God of a king, son of a queen. Give me my rings, I'm taking my crown, standing my ground as I walk with my feet upon the earth. Holy hell, heaven fell upon this whole entire turf. Going out the hallway, going out the hallway. Fuck what you heard. Take me out, gotta think it, take me out. Fuck what you heard. Shit, we live in hell. They don't wanna see us my destiny. Wanna put us in jail. Yeah, you can't stop my fucking shine, no, you can't stop my shine. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes. But I ain't going back to prison, motherfucker, some time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins. The cuz smoking blood, so some love, cause we dug. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check? I was thinking to myself, and I was talking to myself, and I was looking at myself. Yeah, I was staring at myself, while myself was telling me to get the fuck up on the ground. I told myself to fuck yourself and get the fuck away from around. While myself was telling me and trying to put me in a cell. I told myself to fuck yourself and take yourself and go ahead. Cause I'm the true and living spirit in a young black male, and I come to unveil the spell of the tale. Ghosts. Shit, fuck what you talk about. This plane that we stand on is flat. The earth is not a spinning ball. Fuck what you heard. Fuck you talk about. Vaccines. They don't wanna see a young motherfucker killing us slowly. Yeah, you can't stop my fucking shine, no, you can't stop my shine. And that's the fucking bottom line, yeah, that's the bottom line. I heard you niggas fucking snitching, know you dropping dimes. But I ain't going back to prison, motherfucking time. Cause we get it from the mud, all my bloods and my cousins. The cuz smoking blood, so some love, cause we dug. So raise your fucking flag and throw your set. If you living for the day, ain't you banging for a check? Huey, King cut the motherfucking rap money. Ain't no motherfucking dummy.